Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I am your host Wally. Today we're looking at the crown jewel of the Texas Hill Country, Fredericksburg, Texas. Fredericksburg is an awesome little town on the Hill Country, tucked amongst the hills. Here we have the Bahrain's Church Museum, which is a recreation of the church that existed there long ago. It ended up being the center of activity in Fredericksburg, and there it is. You can see it in the little mock-up display that they have of what the Fredericksburg used to look like way back then. Plus, they also have a statue to remember the town elders that decided to make peace with the Indians instead of fighting them. So they smoked a peace pipe together. Sounds kind of cool. And around the area there's plenty of space for picnicking and events and all that fun stuff. Now we go over to the Nimitz Museum. Admiral Nimitz was in charge of the Pacific Theater during World War II. He was in charge of all the battleships and aircraft carriers and all of that, and he was from Fredericksburg. So Fredericksburg is a big deal for those who study World War II history. And we have a museum at his former hotel that his family used to run. It tells you all about this great Admiral. And there he is outside, standing guard. I kind of like looking at him. And I have a big thing for statues. I don't know why. I've just always enjoyed statues and taking selfies with them and admiring them. Now we're in the actual National Museum of the Pacific War. It's right downtown. You see a replica of the atomic bomb. That's Fat Boy. Just say no to nuclear arms. There's a captured sub. Fits right into the museum. Plus you get to see some of the old tanks that they used to use, some with battle damage. And there's plenty of guns on display and armory and everything you could ever wish for when it comes to learning about World War II concerning the Pacific. There's an outside area where they showcased a flamethrower. If we were standing far away, you could still feel the heat. Those flamethrowers were powerful. We also have some airplanes that you can look at, as well as a Asian, Japanese Zen garden, which is very peaceful and beautiful to walk through. Fredericksburg is also home to the historic Fort Martin Scott. It's an old fort that used to be in Fredericksburg. And you can see some of the old buildings, see how they were used, see how frontier life was like back then. Those are the barracks. You get to see some of their weaponry and how the forts were made and how the buildings were made, and how they kept cool, and where the officers' quarters were. It's pretty well maintained, and it's pretty new. Those were jail cells where they kept bad people. But they got plenty of stuff to look through. It's all in one side. I've been to forts before, and this is one of the smaller forts. It's not as spread out, so it's just a big square that you, more like a rectangle that you walk through. You can see some old ruins of former fort buildings, and just get to see what life was like on the frontier back in the 1800s, back before we had air conditioner and back before the land was safe. There's also a visitor center, which explains a lot more than I'm able to explain. And of course you can't go to Fredericksburg without trying the German food. Seems like every restaurant there downtown in Fredericksburg is German food. And I don't know, I still don't like this cabbage. It's the only cabbage I don't like. All the other cabbage I can stand, except for that weird red looking thing. Then I ended up my days at the Old Tunnel State Park. This recent state park is home to 1 billion bats. Actually, Austin is home to 1 billion bats, and this is just one of the places where they fly out of. It's an old abandoned railroad tunnel that didn't quite make it, and bats decided to take it over. So now, during the season, you can witness a bat tornado. There's 2 viewing points. You can choose to go up where I was at, or you can go right down below and be in the middle of the whole thing. Anyways, that's Fredericksburg for you, the jewel of the Texas Hill Country. Make sure to go visit, say hi to Mr. Nimitz, and I hope you have a good time visiting. Thanks.